It is a Tuesday, a Taco Tuesday, a Tuesday of victory for Team USA men's basketball, because technically that game was played on Tuesday in Japan. They're ahead of us. It started at 11:40 last night. Welcome in. It is the Chris Duel Show. I'm Chris Duel, along with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Dave Ayler is your soundscape stylist on a Taco Tuesday, which for Dave Ayler is a plain T-shirt Tuesday. It's just, it's weird. When I see somebody like Dave Ayler, and good morning, Dave, good morning, Shannon, I'm so used to seeing T-shirts with, like, I'm wearing a Dallas Cowboys T-shirt. And so when I see one, and you've got a few of them with no team, no logo, no insignia on it, it's unusual. It's a breath of fresh air. I'm not mocking it in any way.
Sometimes you got to cleanse the palate.
Yes.
Start over again.
Yes.
And maybe I could write, this space for rent so that salespeople can sell it.
Well, I think the thing is that Dave is just super, super rich, and he's not telling us. There's a reason why celebrities get asked, what are you wearing? There's no insignia to let you know.
Right.
I make so much money I can buy a shirt with nothing on it.
That's true. Yeah, on the red carpet. What are you wearing tonight? I'm wearing some, and I don't even know designers.
That's a Tom Ford 2014 collection tee.
Boom. Yeah, I'm wearing the Target discount.
The 2 for 25 section.
Yeah, that's what
You just came from the Gap on the closeout table.
Yeah, and I wonder, and I'm sure there are, some. And I don't know if elitist is the word. That's a little harsh. I'll call them purists who say, oh, man, I don't need to have an insignia or a team on my T-shirt. I'm above that. I'm sure there's some people out there with that attitude.
That's like I can't go to a sporting event and not have something that says my team across, or like a logo or something. Like the people who wear the colors, but they're wearing normal street clothes.
Yeah.
I'm not here to look pretty.
Well,
I'm not here to be fancy. I'm here to drink beer and yell at the opposing team.
That's like going to a concert not wearing a concert shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't do
You
that.
have to do that. And
I look my best in case the artist I meet they're backstage and they want to fall in love and have a family. I have to be ready at all times.
And does that happen very often?
You never know.
No,
You
it's
miss
true.
100% of the shots you don't take.
See, I was saying that
I got to step
yesterday.
to the line.
I was saying that about the Austin Bills yesterday. It's like, yes, take a shot. Pick up the phone, because you never know. So, well, welcome in, everybody. Lots going on in the sports world. Want to welcome the people in on the live video feed already. Tracy, Lucinda, John, Paul, Hector, Anthony, Wes, welcome in, everybody. There's lots of ways you can access the show. There is a live video feed with multiple ways to get into that, either on Facebook, through AM 1300 The Zone's Facebook Live page, through Ticket 760's Facebook Live page, through YouTube, through Twitch. Another way to do that. Saw some dude, and I saw you interact with him, but I didn't look closely yesterday, Shannon. Some dude on Twitch said, hey, I want you guys to come on my Twitch. And what did you see that yesterday?
Yeah,
We're making Twitch friends.
Yeah, I think he's from Canada, except so on our end, just to let people know what we see all of the comments come in, and it does tell us if they're Facebook, if they're Twitch, if they're YouTube. But for me, because I am the puppeteer behind all of the cameras and everything,
Puppet master.
I'm able to do like a reply all, so it goes out to all of the things. And he asked, hey, will you come on our show? And I was responding to someone else who had asked me a question on Facebook, not realizing it was on reply all and not just Facebook. So the response he got was, not a chance. And I don't remember the Facebook question. I think it had something to do with
He's probably
builds,
saying,
but
they're so
he was
rude.
like, was that to me? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I told him that, that wasn't my answer, but I mean, it's kind of my answer. I just said it nicer.
Yeah, we're kind of busy sometimes, but you never know. Maybe he's got a cool. I mean, is that for Twitch? Is that common to on Twitch? Do people have other people show up on their feed?
Yeah, I mean, that's where people are going for interviews and things because it's a free service. So anyone can, that's where a lot of podcasters are going,
All right.
where they do their video.
Woo. All right.
Not like us. It's just an add-on because we're professionals.
Yeah, exactly.
The iHeartRadio.
Don't
The
try
Ohio
this.
State, the iHeartRadio.
Yeah, the Ohio State University. Oh, that's a little pretentious, by the way. Can we say that? Can we
They
say
did try
that?
to trademark the.
Yeah. And that, I mean, you talk about pretentious. Exactly. They wanted to trademark the word the, THE, or the, however you want to pronounce it.
Whose idea was that? And do they still have a job?
No, I don't know.
I mean, come on. Of all the words in the English language, the. It still bothers me when we're watching NFL Monday nights and they go through the roster and they're all listing their colleges. And some of them shout out their high schools. And then you get that one pretentious a-hole
who has to hit it.
The
Ohio State
University.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
The next guy, Columbus High School. Class of 2008.
Exactly. How about some shout out to the elementary schools?
Yeah.
We got to get to that.
If you're going to go back.
Glen Oaks Elementary School. What was the name of your elementary school, Shannon?
Doss Elementary.
Doss Elementary.
Doss Owls.
Who was Doss? Was that like James Earl Doss? Was there a person?
No, I don't know.
Oh, you didn't know. You didn't
been
learn.
Too long.
Wow,
I only went there for 8 years. I couldn't tell you.
I'm surprised they don't drill that into the kids' heads. Yeah, here he is. He was a very special man.
They're too busy teaching us about taxes.
There you go.
Oh,
yes.
no.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. No.
Life skills. We're not going to teach you life skills that you can use someday.
I know my secondary colors.
Woo!
It's a good school. You guys.
Yeah. Don't be dissing Doss.
I think at this point we need to change the curriculum.
Yeah.
On all levels.
Totally agree with that. All right.
No.
Why should you know? Okay.
Because I lived it. I've been there, done that.
Gotcha.
Now I'm failing at regular life.
As am I. So we will fail together. But Team USA did not fail at the Olympics. It was late last night, in case you missed it. If you're awake right now, either you stayed up or maybe you missed it because you went to bed on time. Team USA beat Spain 95-81, 29 points for Kevin Durant. Team USA advances to the semifinals now, and they will take on the winner of Australia versus Argentina, which gets underway around 7:00 this morning. Shannon, we'll keep an eye on that. And of course, Australia, their big dude is Patty Mills, San Antonio Spur Patty Mills. So we could have the Patty Mills versus Pop semifinal. And Australia's been on fire. So
Patty Mills, where have I seen that name recently? Oh, yeah, trending on Twitter yesterday.
Yes, he was.
Rumors that he may be going elsewhere. As the Spurs bring in people that I've never heard of.
Doug McDermott, they call him Dougie McBuckets, and Zach Collins, your two current big-time San Antonio Spur free agents NBA and Spurs free agency got underway yesterday. We'll get into that. I did want to make sure we say this early, Shannon.
Sure.
Eric Clapton tickets. We've got not one, but two pair to give away today. So we'll give away a pair of Eric Clapton tickets in the 7:00 hour and a pair of Eric Clapton tickets in the 8:00 hour.
And I want to make sure, because I know these are hot tickets. You can only win once. And if you won the last time we gave them away, you cannot win again. So clear those phone lines if you've already won. Okay?
True.
Let somebody else get a chance.
And clear those phone lines until we tell you we're going to give away the tickets. Once in the 7:00 hour and once in the 8:00 hour. Now that's at the Frank Irwin Center. I'm trying to remember when. Was that September? I'm pulling that.
September 15th?
I think it was right around there. I'm Googling it right now. See, we're giving away the tickets. You would expect me. Boom, you nailed it. September 15th, Frank Irwin Center. So he is also going to the Toyota Center in Houston on September 17th. We don't have tickets for that. Before Austin, he's going to be in Fort Worth at Dickies Arena. I'm just looking at his tour. Then he's off to New Orleans, Nashville. He's all over the place. But so, yeah, Eric Clapton. Now, and what is he? apparently he's anti-vax, right? I wonder if Cole Beasley's going to. Whoa, wouldn't that be great? Cole Beasley could open and do his rap song, his diss track about the coronavirus, and maybe Eric comes out and does a little duet with Cole Beasley.
I'd still be in the beer line if that were the case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his deal is exactly. I've just seen his name in headlines, and it hasn't been for his music.
Yeah, I have not. I know there's this mini controversy, or maybe major, I don't even know, about Eric Clapton and his coronavirus comments. But I mean, I like Eric Clapton. He's a great musician, one of the best guitar players ever. So, I guess you gotta, if that bothers you, or if it doesn't, maybe you're with him. Just either put that aside or choose not to, or whatever. But I mean, he is a superstar. That is a hot ticket. And we've got, not only are we giving them away today in the 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock hour, you'll be doing that the rest of the week. Shannon Salty Sweeney.
Yep. And it's, Irwin Center coming to a close. Concerts will start taking place at the Moody Center in April of next year. So get in while you can.
So bring a screwdriver and just take your chair out of the place. After you see Eric Clapton, just rip the chair out and say, yeah, this is where I sat for Clapton.
Memento, and also you're saving taxpayer money. Thank you. We appreciate that.
They'll be thrilled with that. Very nice. Yeah, have the fans tear the place up. Well, we got so much to cover, Shannon, and we will. We mentioned NBA free agency, and we will take a close look at that. You mentioned Patty Mills. He is being rumored to be targeted, perhaps even by the Los Angeles Lakers. How do you feel about that?
Where is all of the money coming from?
It's a good question.
When you have LeBron and when you have AD, now you have Russell, where is the money coming from?
It's a very good question. Now, Patty Mills obviously doesn't command superstar money.
No.
I'm sure there's like a little player exemption slot, some few million for Patty. And it's weird. I got mixed emotions on that. Normally, because Patty Mills is the longest tenured Spur, I do not want to lose him. I think he brings a lot of leadership, and he can fill it up sometimes. On and off the court, I think he's a plus for the Spurs. But if the Lakers seem poised to make a run at a title, I don't. If Patty Mills went to the Lakers, I don't think I'd hate it. Now, if he went to the Clippers with our good buddy Kawhi, I might feel a little different. But Lakers, I don't want to lose him. I hope it doesn't happen, but I wouldn't hate it.
We balk at the super teams, or like certain players balk at the super teams, and then they go join them. It's fine to join them, but when a guy like Russ, who gave KD such a hard time for leaving OKC, go to Golden State, is now like, oh, I get it. I'm not winning championships. Send me to LA, which I guess is fine. I mean, I don't think he wanted to go to Houston. I don't think he wanted to go to the Wizards. So at least now he's getting a bit of a say, but it seems like his career is winding down, and he's like, I need a ring. They'll forget about me. I don't have the personality of Charles Barkley. I need a ring.
Another name for San Antonio Spurs fans in free agency we don't have resolution on yet is DeMar DeRozan. I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of DeMar DeRozan things.
Day, isn't it?
Yeah, and the biggest jaw dropper for me, and I would go crazy on this one, is LA Clippers. Imagine that, with Kawhi out much or all of the season with his injury. And Kawhi's a free agent, by the way, too. But I was listening to Woj yesterday, Adrian Wojnarowski, the Oracle, when it comes to all things NBA and free agency. And Kawhi is expected to re-sign some kind of a contract with the Clippers, but it is Kawhi and it's Uncle Dennis and anything's possible. But can you imagine if DeMar DeRozan signs with the Clippers? It was Kawhi Leonard who, with his behavior and his demands, pretty much was the reason DeMar got forced out of Toronto, a town and a franchise he never wanted to leave. Now he would go join forces with Kawhi Leonard? God.
See, if I had to like sit here and predict it, I think the rumor and the idea of DeMar and Kyle Lowry teaming back up and being in Miami, because that's where Kyle Lowry is now.
Yes.
I like that. And then, people love to speculate, especially when they see pictures of athletes together. You had a photo of Chris Paul and Russell out in LA getting drinks. And there's, it was announced that PG Chris Paul is not going to, he's free agent, and maybe he'll go back to the Clippers and win and kind of finish what he started there. That's why he was brought to the Clippers. It just never kind of panned out. Him and Blake Griffin, just one was it was like the Nets this year. One was just always out and they couldn't pull it together. That would be interesting to
Very
see
interesting.
him back there and then alongside a guy like Kawhi.
Yeah, lots of speculation, some movement, as you mentioned, Kyle Lowry to the Miami Heat, but still a lot of loose ends out there and a lot of possibilities. And we will talk more NBA free agency. We will talk Olympics. In fact, a major development at the Olympics that has been in the headlines for days and days and days throughout much of these Olympics. It will be part of our high five play of the day. We're going to give out an Olympic high five coming up in the next segment. Don't forget, 7 o'clock hour and 8 o'clock hour, we're giving away Eric Clapton tickets. Lots of ways you can join the show. We mentioned the live video feed via Facebook Live or YouTube or Twitch. Just don't invite us on your Twitch show. You might get a swift, emphatic answer from Shannon Salty Sweeney, like dude did yesterday. Or you can dial us up. We take your phone calls. You want to talk Team USA? You want to talk NFL? You want to talk Major League Baseball, Olympics? Phone number 800-707-9760. 800-707-9760. Lots to talk about all morning long. She's Shannon Salty Sweeney. Dave Ayler is your soundscape stylist. I'm Chris. Till 9, it's the Chris Duel Show. All right. Good morning, everybody. Okay, I see that. Yeah, Jason, you are correct. Chris Paul did re-sign with the Suns. Thank you, sir. I did not see your story on South Lake Carroll, John Williams. I'll have to go look. Good morning, Mary Anthony. Let's see here. That's what I need. Yeah, John, we knew that story about Quinn Ewers. That was headlining national sports yesterday afternoon. But thank you. We'll talk about that. We just didn't get to it yet. Good morning, Steve Duraco. Rudy Mora, good morning. Welcome in. Rudy, I am good, man. Thank you. This is my last day until next week. Mary Anthony, the Spurs good luck charm, is here. Steve Duraco, the original rock, in here. Tracy Bogert, I did not see the wreck in team cycling or in speed cycling. Yeah, Sam talking about Team USA men's basketball. I hope they've got it together. You know, they had to put together a whole new team. They got to get used to each other. Obviously, that loss to France was not good, but in a weird way, maybe that loss to France was a wake-up call that they were all going to have to really focus, maybe even more than they thought they would. So 2 more wins, and Australia, yeah, Sam, I'm going with Steve Duraco, who is in here, to Canton, Ohio. Mike Taylor was all over Troy Aikman's junk yesterday. It's a little frightening. Yeah, Troy Aikman will introduce Jimmy Johnson for enshrinement, which is kind of cool. Dave Emilio, that's exactly. I've been looking forward to this Olympics for Pop and Team USA basketball. I feel the same way. I want Pop to get this near the end of his basketball career. I think it'd be very, very cool. Now pitching for the Los Angeles Dodgers, number 57, Steve. How? True story. Cocaine. I heard Shannon on Sirius XM. Classic Vinyl was the channel, which is, you know me, Shannon, I listen to classic rock. By the way, Chris Duel show with Shannon Salty Sweeney, and they played this song Cocaine by Eric Clapton, and they had like a short interview with Eric Clapton. By the way, we're giving away Eric Clapton tickets. Eric Clapton at the Frank Irwin Center. September 15th. we give away the tickets in the 7 o'clock and the 8 o'clock hour. That song, Cocaine, kind of, glorifies cocaine. But apparently there's a line in it, like there's one line that it'll mess you up. So he goes, well, not really. If you listen to the lyrics, I'm not really glorifying. Yes, shut up, Eric. We love you. You're a great guitar player. Don't try to all of a sudden be politically correct with your cocaine song.
I don't think we need to go back and defend songs that were we wouldn't, if they were made today, people would have something to say, and I think rightfully so. But whatever happened back in the day, it is what it is.
Yes.
And he did a lot of cocaine too.
As they all did. Right.
And heroin. And he even opened his own rehab center.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He talks about it in his autobiography.
Wow.
It's like in Aruba or somewhere.
Oh, very nice.
So you can go down there and get clean.
I need to go to rehab.
You got to have some cash.
We know getting help is admitting you have a problem.
Exactly. Amy Winehouse should have gone to rehab. She might still be with us, but she did not. That's ironic.
It is.
You have a hit song. I ain't gonna go to rehab, and then you die. So,
don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. 27 Club. Don't do drugs.
I made it out. I'm just saying. 28. Woo. Nailed it.
That's right. Congratulations for surviving age 27.
People think turning 16, 21, big deal. No, it's turning 28.
28's big. You make it out and don't have to qualify for the 27 Club. Very, very good. She is Shannon Salty Sweeney. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, in addition to those Clapton tickets, Shannon's Salty Shakedown, sports history and sports birthdays, a GOAT or the GOAT, depending on how you want to look at it. Birthday for the GOAT today. We'll let you know who that is in case there's any doubt in your mind. And in a moment, there'll be no doubt in your mind who we are giving a high five to. It is time for the high five play of the day. Every morning at this time, we give out high fives because they are deserved. And we should be giving out more high fives. And you should be giving out more high fives. It's just the right thing to do. When somebody deserves a high five, give them a high five. High five play of the day is appropriately presented by High Five, the eatery, the drinkery, the entertainmentery. There's all kinds of stuff you can do at High Five. 2 locations in the Austin area. Great games. Axe throwing, laser tag. Those are the only 2 I know. I know there's a bunch of them, Shannon, but I always cite, because you're the big axe thrower at High Five. And I know there's laser tag, and you have played laser tag at High Five. So I live vicariously through your High Five experience.
Sweat it out. There's also bowling and tons of arcade games and a really cool Topgolf simulator where not only can you play Topgolf, you can play zombie dodgeball, which my family and I are fantastic at if anyone ever needs any pointers. And today's high five, we're all about sportsmanship. We're all about passing out those high fives. And we have to talk about Miss Simone Biles because this morning, our time, she won a bronze medal on beam. That's right. She said, screw you, all you haters. Got up on beam, did her thing, and won a bronze medal. And I'm sure there will be people coming after her that say, well, why didn't you win gold? Well, let's do one thing straight. She qualified for beam, but she qualified in the 7th spot, which is the last spot available to qualify for beam. And due to her twisties, she took out elements of her routine so that she could feel more comfortable, which probably gave her the confidence to compete. So she changed her routine, which also lowered her difficulty level. So that would naturally kind of lower her score.
Yeah.
She changed her routine at the Olympics, went out there, did her thing, and now walks away with a bronze medal, which brings her medal total as a gymnast at the Olympics to 7, which is tied for the most all time as a gymnast. She is the GOAT. I don't care what anyone else says. I do not want to see any Simone slander at all for the rest of time. She is incredible. Congratulations and high five. I'm sure that my high five is meaningless to you, Simone, after all these medals and this one you got today, which is just the icing on the cake to what most people are assuming the end of her Olympic career. Probably rightfully so. Again, she's 24. But congratulations and a high five to you, ma'am.
Absolute high five to Simone Biles. And you said you don't want to see any more people slamming Simone Biles anymore for the rest of history and the rest of time. But sadly, I think we know that it's coming. And it's so weird how it's a thing now. There's a certain group of people that just decided when Simone Biles had her issues, and we've heard from so many gymnasts who say, it could have risked catastrophic injury had she continued. Yeah. And she realized she could not continue, and she made this choice. And all the more reason, Shannon, I saw one gymnast, I think it was Allie Reisman, saying, she's in Tokyo. When this happens normally, and it does happen to gymnasts, it's relatively common. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for Simone Biles, it happened at the Olympics. But usually you're able to go home, you then come back the next day in your home gym and slowly kind of work your way through it. Sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes a week, sometimes it takes months to work your way through it. To be in Tokyo, where they're restricting your movement, where you can't just leave your living quarters and go to the gym and work on your own time. And oh, by the way, you're sleeping in that cardboard bed or whatever the facilities are in Tokyo. It wasn't easy. And I think it was probably, as you document, Shannon, monumental that Simone Biles was able to compete again at all after what she was going through. And as you point out, to revamp her routine on the fly while at the Olympics is amazing. So good for her. And she walks out of there with a medal. I like it. And yes, high five for her.
People need to get over, we're all open to talk about mental health these days, which is fantastic. But for whatever reason, when someone feels like someone else's mental health is impeding on their time, it's no. You're just nope. Can't accept that. It's got to be something else. I need that gold medal. You need to go have that somewhere else. Not now. Now's not a good time for me. For whatever reason, everyone made it about themselves. So I'm glad she took back the narrative into her own hands, got out there, did her thing, won a bronze medal. And again, like you said, changed her routine. That's, to me, is the craziest part of all this. Whether mental health aside, to go out there and change your routine to fit what you're working with at that moment, at something like that, where she's probably practiced that regular routine hundreds, if not thousands of times, versus this new design she worked with, which was probably, a couple times in the last few days. Congrats. Go Team USA. Proud American right here.
Very cool, as am I. And I mentioned Allie Reisman, the American gymnast who was amazing in the 2012 and 2016 Olympics. She was on, there's a new show that, he previously had a show, so it's a revamp of that with Bob Costas that just dropped over the weekend on HBO and HBO Max. It's really good. So somebody was talking on Facebook Live, Shannon, about, the definition of a sports journalist. And, I don't see you and me.
Someone with thumbs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sports journalist is someone who covers sports. And over the years, Bob Costas was. And he would report on sports, and he would report from the Olympics. You and I, as sports talk show hosts, we're opinion people. Yep. So I don't see us as sports journalists. We're not creating journalism about sports. We're reacting to it. And delivering opinion. But man, I was just watching Bob Costas in episode 1. He's so good. And I know he's kind of like a Joe Buck. There are Bob Costas haters out there. And Bob Costas, after years and years and years of covering NFL football and being a big part of NFL football, and it's my favorite sport, football, Shannon, I think it's yours too. He, with all of this CTE, all of the CTE data coming out, Bob Costas now is kind of even anti-football, which obviously rubs some people the wrong way. You know, he thinks there should be a lot more, just an intense level of safeguards in football to prevent head injuries. But just watching him do what he does as host of that show, as a sports journalist and a commentator on sports, and in addition to Ali Reisman, he opened up with Charles Barkley, which was a tremendous interview with Charles and Bob Costas. And Charles was very candid about the end of his relationship with Michael Jordan. You know, Michael will no longer talk with Charles Barkley. And Barkley said, as he has a number of times, you know, I was asked a direct question on TNT about how Michael Jordan is doing as an owner. And I said, he's not doing a good job as an owner. And apparently Michael Jordan won't talk to Charles Barkley anymore. And Charles said, it hurts. You know, we were not just friends, we were best friends. And it hurts me that Michael Jordan will no longer talk with me. But in general, I highly recommend. Did you see it, Shannon? I know you've got HBO Max.
For the first time last night, I was scrolling through the options and saw it. But I was making my way towards the show that I already had in mind.
Okay.
So I didn't click on it.
If you're looking for programming,
recommendation.
Yeah, give it a look. Apparently it's going to be on, it's going to be quarterly ultimately, but apparently there were 4 episodes that because of COVID, they didn't do in 2020. So apparently there's going to be 4 straight months of this show with Bob Costas. And then after those 4 months, then it's going to go quarterly. And then they're going to move into their 2021 season, I guess. And from there on out, it'll be quarterly. But it was, and the reason I bring it up, it was Ali Reisman who did a segment with Bob Costas, and she was talking about Simone Biles and said, you have no idea how much, if Simone Biles would have gone, having the twisties, having this losing track of where you are in the air while you're flinging your body through the air, you risk catastrophic injury, including neck and spine injury as you come down. And so, I mean, best thing to do in a situation like this is listen to experts, listen to people in the field. Mm-hmm. And Ali Reisman, just another voice for how serious this was and how justified Simone Biles was in making the decisions she made in Tokyo.
Listen, we stand women supporting other women, especially in sports, because we're always made out to be catty or, maybe a female dog at times, right? Versus like just being a boss lady.
Yeah.
And for these gymnasts who are, I mean, you think about how competitive like international gym is, but when you think about it, they're all individuals, right? Aside from the team event, like they are all competing for that number 1 spot, and they're competing with each other day in and day out. So we stand when they support each other like this.
And just one more thing, and you and I have mentioned this, Shannon, and Ali Reisman was asked about this by Bob Costas on HBO. Don't forget Simone Biles, like Ali Reisman and so many of those women, survived sexual abuse from Larry Nassar, the gymnastics, Team USA gymnastics coach for all those years. So in addition to everything Simone Biles has had to overcome, and as you mentioned, by winning this bronze today, she ties for the most medals for gymnastics as an athlete. My God, to overcome everything Simone Biles has overcome, and to go through adversity again. And, oh, by the way, at age 24 in the Olympics in a sport that is dominated by 16 and 17-year-olds. My goodness. High five. She's amazing.
That Larry Nassar thing, unfortunately, is something that that'll never go away.
True.
And they'll all have to find their own ways to deal with it. And then you add in the fact that these twisties could have caused serious injury. That risking injury is probably a trigger, right? Because every time she was injured before, that's the man that she had to go deal with.
You're right. Wow.
So for me, I'm like, you talk about a football player who comes back from like an ankle or a foot thing, and they're, they don't go outside the pocket as much. They're a little more timid. They want to throw the ball more. Like, to me, that's like, I don't want to get injured. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't have the control, and I'm still, again, working under the governing body of these, the Team USA Gymnastics, who have not proven to take care of me before and still have not really taken care of me. I don't want to get injured.
That is a brilliant, brilliant point. You connected the dots there in a way. I haven't heard anybody else connect the dots like that with Simone Biles. All right, quick break. Lots more coming. Olympics, NFL, and more with you till 9 on the Chris Duel Show. That was tremendous, Shannon. Thank you. All right, let's see. I got to record some spots very quickly. Where's my copy? There it is. All right. I'm going to mute my microphone for just a few moments here, and then I'll be back on audio, just so you don't have to put up with my ridiculous stammering through commercial reads. All right. Yeah, Argentina getting underway now. Okay, I got to make sure I save this. So. Good morning, Beth Settle. Welcome in. I need one more here. Let's do that.
Hey, Chris here for R&R Auto Glass. They're the best at where I take my vehicle. They can replace every piece of glass on your vehicle, chip filling and repair, camera calibration, window regulators, all with a lifetime warranty. Nobody does it better. Senior, UTSA, and military discounts. Speaking about discounts, ask them about the Duel deal. Save even more money off the already low and reasonable pricing. All the info at the website, rnrautoglass.com. R&R Auto Glass.
All right. Here we come. Rudy, welcome in. Brad George from Australia. All right. Brad, I hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you, sir. Welcome in everybody else on Facebook. It is Taco Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. NBA free agency is well underway. Still a lot of question marks out there in NBA free agency. We are talking about it. We are giving away Eric Clapton tickets twice, in fact, today. Give away Eric Clapton tickets this hour and next hour. Eric Clapton coming to the Frank Irwin Center. And I think Eric is asking Shannon that if you do come to the concert, you have to demonstrate you have not been vaccinated. I'm kidding. I thought that would be kind of a way that Eric would want it. So, and opening act Cole Beasley, rapper Cole Beasley.
Calling him a rapper is generous.
It's very generous.
It's a hobby.
Woo. So anyway, no. Get vaccinated. No matter what Eric Clapton says. And go to the concert. It's going to be great. He rocks. I'm sure he'll play cocaine. Don't do cocaine on your way to the concert unless you designate an Uber driver or something. Just be careful out there. Anyway, have we decided when in the 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock hours we're giving away these tickets? Shannon, Salty, Sweeney?
Maybe just before break here.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Segment. It's a good idea. Works for me. Before this segment is over, we'll give away and we're using the phone lines, right? Just the main phone number? Okay. So if you call early, it's probably not going to do you any good. And besides, we'll have Shannon designate what number caller will take coming up here near the bottom of the hour when we'll give away the Eric Clapton tickets. Also this hour, Shannon's Salty Shakedown. This day in sports history involving some Olympic history. We have sports birthdays, including the GOAT. Today is the GOAT's birthday. And Shannon, as we have moved into the 8 o'clock hour, we will have to keep an eye on things because with the opponent in the semifinals for Team USA basketball will be determined. That game getting underway. Oh, it is underway. Argentina leading Australia in men's Olympic basketball. 5:09 to go in the first quarter. And Argentina leads Australia 12-8. I feel weird about this, Shannon, because, who do you pull for in Argentina versus Australia? I think Australia's the better team. I like Patty Mills a lot, who plays for Australia. He's kind of the star for Australia, especially now that Aaron Baines had a bathroom injury that knocked himself out of the Olympics for Australia. So I guess if I'm a true Team USA fan, and I am, Shannon, I think Argentina at this point would be a better or an easier opponent for Team USA. So am I pulling for Patty Mills to lose this game?
I think so. I think in the Expedition Games, we lost to Australia or we won against Australia? I know we beat Argentina.
We lost. They beat us in Vegas.
By those mathematics, I agree. We won Argentina. We want the 41-year-old.
All right, yeah. Is that Scola? Who's the 41-year-old? Luis Scola? Yeah, playing for Argentina. So, all right, Patty Mills, I want you to go off. I want you to have like 67 points. It's not going to happen.
You want him to come back home and figure out his free agency stuff.
Yes, exactly, Patty. You got stuff to do. There you go. So I want you to have a great individual game, but I want the Aussies to lose because it benefits Team USA. As I say that, but you got to be careful. You can't be cocky. I'm starting to believe that Team USA would be fine against either one of those teams. But now 4:31 to go in the first quarter. Argentina 14, Australia 8. Winner gets Team USA. Meanwhile, on the other side of the bracket in the semifinals, your boy, Luka Doncic, apparently something like 16 games now in a row he has won in international play. He's a madman. Slovenia beat Germany. They beat Germany down 94-70, a 24-point win. So Slovenia, led by Luka Doncic, advances to take on France. Remember, France is the team that beat Team USA to open up the Olympics in group play. France beat Italy by 9, 84-75. So on one side of the bracket in the semifinals, Slovenia versus France. On the other side, Team USA versus the winner of Argentina versus Australia. All right, see, I love my Patty Mills for Australia. Shannon, you love your Luka Doncic for Slovenia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you in Slovenia during France now? Because I got a feeling Slovenia is a better team than France. Are you going to do what I'm doing in this Australia versus Argentina matchup? Are you going to pull against your boy?
My boy's not wearing a Mavericks jersey, so I couldn't care less.
Nice.
I like the storyline of the U.S. being able to face France again in the gold medal game, right?
Yes.
So I want that to happen. I want the wrongs to be righted, and for that, I need France to win out here.
Now, okay, I got to back up a little bit. First of all, you said your boy, Luka Doncic, is not wearing a Mavericks jersey.
Right.
So you couldn't care less.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Patty, I'm excited. It's like I revel in his success. I want him to do great for Australia. So, but you, I mean, no, you're not happy that Luka is the man for Slovenia.
It's fine. It's to be expected. I mean, he is what he is, and that's fantastic and good for him and pat on the back, but you're not wearing a Mavs jersey. It's a business decision, Chris. I'm not attached that way. I'm not attached emotionally.
See, I get attached emotionally. If a guy's a Spur, and in the case of Patty Mills, the longest tenured Spur, a guy who plays with passion. I mean, we've talked about Patty Mills. We've given him a high five. A guy who does great philanthropic things. A guy who donated his entire bubble salary a year ago when the teams were playing in the bubble. It was over $1 million. He donated his entire bubble salary to philanthropic causes. I want to see him do well, but obviously not against Team USA. You also bring up, though, and I like it, and I hope it happens, an opportunity for USA to face France in the gold medal game in the final. It would be a grudge match. It would be a rematch. USA lost to France in the opener of group play. It would be an opportunity for us to stick it to those Frenchies and make them pay. I like it. And we'll be serving up freedom fries after the match. It's like, hey, everybody, who wants some freedom fries? I do.
Will that be brought to us by McDonald's?
I don't know.
They're big on the Olympics.
I always love that. We'll show you. We're not going to call them French fries anymore. Now they're freedom fries. Yeah.
Salt piling up in my system. Just talking about French fries.
Nothing wrong with that. And of course, Patty Mills, speaking of Patty Mills, he is a free agent, as you mentioned, Shannon, and I hope he does. He's got his free agent status to concern himself with. And one of the teams apparently showing interest in Patty Mills is the Los Angeles Lakers. He played college basketball at Loyola St. Mary's, or at St. Mary's, which is on the West Coast, which isn't that far from LA. So he would be going back to California. Patty Mills, although he's an Aussie, he played his college ball in the state of California.
I guess it's because he's with Team Australia, and so I've seen him in yellow that I could make that jump, like, in my mind. But as a guy who's just so tenured with the Spurs,
yeah,
I get why it'd be hard for Spurs fans to let go, and then for him to he's beloved by this fan base.
Yes.
And not to say that, LA would have something to say against him, but that has to be a hard transition in and of itself. Forget who you're playing with, that alone.
Yeah. And not only beloved by the fan base, Pop even said last year, and it's true, Patty Mills is the spiritual leader of the Spurs. I mean, not only is he Mr. Motivation, Patty Mills is the guy who often on road trips, they call themselves like the Spurs Coffee Club. Patty Mills would organize all these Spurs getting together on the road to go out to a coffee shop and go have coffee. And what that was, obviously, is team bonding and team building and esprit de corps and just, and again, another reason I love the Spurs, so many other NBA teams, they go on the road, they go to a certain city and they go to strip clubs. I mean, Draymond Green, who, oh, by the way, is on Team USA. I mean, notoriously, Draymond Green is a connoisseur of the strip club. Spurs go to coffee houses. Spurs have a coffee club. I remember one time the Spurs were in LA to play the Lakers, and they toured one of the Elon Musk like rocketry facilities. It was Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and a couple of other Spurs like looking at rockets while they're on the road. Well, some other NBA teams, they're hanging out at strip clubs. So
that's my
just
kind of
another
vibe.
reason. Yeah.
That's my vibe. Get a cup of coffee, do some people watching. Look at the place you're in. Look at the places you get to travel and go, the experiences that tons of people around the world would love to have. Do that. Don't go sit in a dark dungeon with the nasties for hours on end.
Totally agree with that. All right, shifting gears. We talked about him just a couple of days ago. He's in the news. He's a Texas guy, Quinn Ewers, who originally committed. Did he originally commit? He was a Texas commit, right?
Yeah.
It was like, I'm coming. Was coming to Texas. Maybe Tom Herman had something to do with it. He decommitted when Tom Herman was the head coach. He's now headed to Ohio State, but he was going to play football. He had a year of eligibility to play football. Obviously, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the great state of Texas. He was expected to do something, very, very special, perhaps lead his team to a state championship. But now that's not going to happen. It is now official. Quinn Ewers, and another factor involved in this name, image, and likeness change in college football. He was supposed to lead Southlake Carroll as quarterback his senior year up in the Dallas area. He will skip his senior season in order to enroll at Ohio State, get an early jump, get used to the campus, but most importantly, and the biggest factor in his decision, he might make $1 million next season regarding name, image, and likeness. Shannon, your thoughts?
Well, listen, reports came out yesterday that he had made this decision, and then about an hour later, we get his official Notes app announcement via his Twitter page, and he did mention in one of the paragraphs, this is not a financial decision. This is about what is best for my football career.
Bull crap.
It's nice to mention it, but we all know what it is, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, listen, the statistics, as great as you are right now, there is no guarantee that you are heading off to the NFL and you are going to get a big time contract and you're going to have a huge career and make lots and lots of money. So if it's right there in front of you right now, and all you need is one class to complete your senior year of high school, do it. Go make that money, because I'm not wishing injury upon the guy. I'm not wishing that he fails at Ohio State, but the statistics show you just how few guys make it to that next level. And then even those that make it last and make it worthwhile. So why not go get that bread? Why not do it? I'd do it. Shoot, I went into my senior year of high school already a sophomore in college with credits. And had I taken an English class similar to him that summer, if had I been allowed to do it, I could have graduated high school early too. I wouldn't have anywhere to go. Wouldn't have $1 million waiting for me on the other side, but I would have done it. So I don't blame the guy. I feel bad for South Lake Carroll, especially after the amazing season they just had and the amazing season they were going to have. I'm a little worried as to what this will do in the future. The UIL, I know this is UIL, like Texas UIL, so I don't know the differences between the rest of the states, but this is something that could be cause for concern, down the line of all of these kids just start. I mean, we talk about kids skipping bowl games because they're not good enough bowl games and they don't want to get injured and they want to go to the NFL. Or kids just going to skip an entire year of school, which, senior year is such a developmental year for a lot of people. And there's a lot of those one-time experiences, take them or leave them. I didn't go to my proms because not messing with that. But, it was a huge decision that he had to face. And, he made his so we can support him and cheer him on. And, I'm not a huge Ohio State person, but it'll be fun to watch him play and see, how good he is when he does take the field because of this early enrollment.
Yeah, will he live up to the hype? But you made an excellent point that people don't think about. See, as football purists, I think a lot of us, and it's my default reaction to this. It's like, oh man, you should be loyal to your high school. You should go play that senior year. These are your guys. You should go out and be true to your school, as Tim Duncan was for 4 years at Wake Forest. But I know that's an anomaly, especially now more than ever. But you're right. There are no guarantees in life, and there are no guarantees in football. And there's lots and lots of guys out there who, coming out of high school, they said, oh my God, he is going to be the next phenom in college, high school. He's going to be the man. He's going to have a huge college career, and then it's off to the NFL. They are saying that about Quinn Ewers now, but we don't know. And if he can make $1 million, and if it's not $1 million, if it's whatever that number is,
yep,
that he's going to make on name, image, and likeness, if it's not likeness, if it's $328,000,
yep,
whatever it is, make it,
yep,
bank it. Don't touch it and see what happens. Hopefully everything breaks the way it's supposed to break for you, and you're going to have a great college career, and then it's on to the NFL. But what if it's not? And what if you have a catastrophic injury?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, case in point, a little different, but case in point, Brew McCoy.
Ooh.
No, he didn't leave high school early, but he was the guy who was already up for all these awards before he even takes the field. He's committed to USC. He changes his mind. He goes to Texas. He plays in the Texas spring game, plays really well. A week later, he decides, I'm going to go back to USC. But because he was already at Texas, he has to sit a year. Then he's sick or something for basically an entire season.
A mysterious illness.
And then he finally plays, and now he's been arrested, and it's not looking good. And will you say, how is this the same as Quinn Ewers? We just don't know what your college career or your life in general has in store for you, whether that be decisions you make or decisions that just happen to cause whatever around in your life. You might as well take what's in front of you, especially, again, $1 million.
Yeah, Brew McCoy, for those of you who haven't followed that story closely, and what is interesting about him is, he did have a cup of coffee at the University of Texas, but he was a wide receiver out of Mater Dei High School in Santa Ana, California. And if you know anything about high school football in California, Mater Dei is like a South Lake Carroll. I mean, it's a powerhouse. It's a football factory. But yeah, even in high school, he was supposed to be huge in college, therefore huge in pro football someday. He was a USA Today High School All-American in 2018. He was the U.S. Army Player of the Year of all of all high school football players. The U.S. Army All-American Bowl named him the Player of the Year for the year 2018 in high school. And as Shannon documents, he looked like he was headed to USC. Then he went to the Longhorns under Tom Herman, played in the spring game, looked really, really good, was expected to be an impact player for the Longhorns, changed his mind, goes to USC, sits out a year with a mystery illness. Last year was decent for USC. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but caught a couple of touchdowns, had a decent first year in the lineup. But this coming year, Brew McCoy was supposed to be an impact starter on that offense and was supposed to be one of the best wide receivers in college football and was considered, Shannon, to be an NFL prospect and perhaps a high draft pick in the NFL. His arrest is for domestic violence, a felony arrest, and we don't have the specific details of the arrest, but it is reported something to do with a girlfriend or an ex-girlfriend. Here's a guy who could have had a multi-million-dollar NFL career, and it looks like he's just about destroyed it because he's an idiot and a knucklehead and violent and doesn't know how to treat a woman without being violent.
And being out in LA and being the running back for the USC Trojans the first year of the NIL, I mean, that was a good chunk of change that he probably stood to make just before he even went and tried his hand at the NFL. And we obviously know the NFL these days is taking into consideration these kinds of things more than they have in the past. And this is a huge
contest coming.
Unfortunately, I think this is how the Brew McCoy saga ends.
Yeah, and maybe O.J. Simpson is giving him a phone call, a fellow Trojan, and giving him a pep talk. All right, how about some tickets for Mr. Eric Clapton? Eric Clapton coming to the Frank Irwin Center in Austin on September 15th. You don't have to be in Austin to win the tickets. You San Antonio peeps can win. Hop in the car and go on up there if you win the tickets. Shannon, the phone number is 800-707-9760. What number shall we take? What number caller will be the winner?
10.
10.
We're going caller 10. We're going big today.
Number 10, I believe was the college number of a quarterback who's having a birthday today. And that quarterback is now known as the GOAT. But we'll tell you about that coming up on Sports Birthday, Sports History. 10th caller, 800-707-9760, gets a couple of tickets to go see Eric Clapton at the Frank Irwin Center on September 15th. If you don't win right now, you got another shot in the 8 o'clock hour because we're giving away 2 pair today, and we're giving away these tickets all week long. Coming up, Shannon's Salty Shakedown, this day in sports history, sports birthdays, and more. We are with you till 9 o'clock this morning. Dave Ayler, your soundscape stylist. It's the Chris Duel Show. All right. What am I listening to that I don't want to be listening to? Site here. Okay. All right. I love it when this computer is ornery and makes my life more difficult. I'm just trying to edit. Okay, here we go.
Chris here for the great folks at R&R Auto Glass. Nobody does it better. They can replace every piece of glass on your vehicle. Chip filling and repair, camera calibrations, window regulators, all with a lifetime warranty. Senior, UTSA, and military discounts. Speaking of discounts, ask them about the Duel deal. Save even more money off the already low and reasonable pricing. All the information at the website, rnrautoglass.com. They're the best. R&R Auto Glass.
R&R Auto Glass. They are the best. Let's see. All right. Robert Armstrong, it's interesting. Charles Barkley talked about those role model ads with Bob Costas on the new show that dropped on HBO.
.com. They're the best. R&R Auto Glass.
Here we go. Eric Clapton coming to the Frank Irwin Center. We just gave away some tickets. We'll do that again in the 8 o'clock hour and give away those tickets all week long as Dave Ayler brings us in with some Eric Clapton music. It is the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Dave Ayler, do you have the name of our big winner?
Big winner is Johnny Lehman.
Johnny Lehman. Woo! Does he give you the town?
San Antonio.
San Antonio guy. All right. San Antonio got the first pair of tickets. Will Austin or San Marcos or New Braunfels or Kyle or Buda get the next pair? We'll find out. Give away another pair of tickets in the 8 o'clock hour and going to give those away all week long right here. Shannon Salty Sweeney moments away from the Salty Shakedown. But first, how about some sports birthdays and this day in sports history? August 3rd, 1852. And I know I'm old, but no, I wasn't around for this. America's first intercollegiate sporting event took place. First time two colleges went at it in intercollegiate sports. It was the Harvard heavyweight rowing crew beating Yale by 2 lengths over 2 miles on Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. So if anybody ever asks, that's a bar bet. What was the first ever intercollegiate sporting event? Harvard versus Yale. Harvard won.
Good.
Ivy League, baby. Say what?
That's a good trivia question.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Playing trivia.
Yes.
Damn you, COVID.
I know. Maybe we'll play more trivia. Maybe we'll just institute some bar trivia.
I love it because I'm bad at all the other trivia, but when it gets to sports, I'm like, you guys, I got this.
You rule.
I got this.
You rule sports trivia. So 1852, first ever intercollegiate sporting event. 1921, Major League Baseball Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis. That was his name. Kennesaw Mountain Landis. And by the way, he was a racist. More on that some other time. But here's another reason not to like him. He hands out lifetime bans to 8 of the Chicago White Sox accused in the Black Sox scandal of throwing the World Series, even though they were acquitted by a Chicago jury. Kennesaw Mountain Landis banned them for life, including shoeless Joe Jackson, who would be the theme character of the movie Field of Dreams. Before that, it was a book called Shoeless Joe, written by W.P. Kinsella. Coming up later this month, in fact, we're about a week out from the Field of Dreams game in Dyersville, Iowa, at the site of the movie Field of Dreams. That's going to be the White Sox versus the Yankees. I'll have to look that up. I know that's in August. I think we're about a week away. 1936, on this day, American sprinter Jesse Owens wins the 100-meter dash in 10.3 seconds in front of Adolf Hitler in a famous race in the Berlin Olympics. It was the first of 4 gold medals for Jesse Owens at those Olympics. And finally, speaking of the Olympics, in 1984 in Los Angeles, Mary Lou Retton scores a 10 on the final vault to win the individual all-around competition in the LA Olympics, becoming the first American woman to win an Olympic gymnastics medal. That's crazy, especially now how U.S. women dominate gymnastics. That's sports history. How about some sports birthdays? August 3rd, if this is your birthday, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1940, they called him Bambi because he was graceful and fast like a deer. Lance Allworth, American NFL Hall of Fame wide receiver with the San Diego Chargers and the Dallas Cowboys. He caught a touchdown pass from Roger Staubach in Super Bowl VI. In fact, it was the first touchdown of Super Bowl VI. Lance Allworth was born in Houston, Texas. Born on this day in 1951, Marcel Dion, Canadian hockey player, played with the LA Kings and the New York Rangers. Born in Drummondville, Quebec. Born on this day in 1956, Todd Christensen, NFL player originally drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, had a great career with the Oakland Raiders, later became a sportscaster. Sadly, Todd Christensen passed away in 2013, born on this day in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. Born on this day in 1975, Philadelphia Eagles and Rice Owl and John Marshall High School defensive end, N.D. Kalu. I think John Marshall either went to state or won the state championship when N.D. Kalu was on that team. Then he went to Rice. Then he became a Philadelphia Eagle. N.D. Kalu, born on this day in Baltimore, Maryland in 1975. But Shannon, I know you'll be celebrating because the GOAT was born on this day in 1977 in San Mateo, California. Mr. and Mrs. Brady, well, mainly Mrs. Brady, gave birth to their young baby they would name Tom, and he was a little baby. They held him in their arms. Little did they know he would become a GOAT. Tom Brady, born in 1977. Let me do some math. How old does that make him if he was born in 77? That makes him
44.
44. And he said when he turned 40, he wanted to play until he was 45. That means 2 more years of Tom Brady.
So does that age give him the right to throw the temper tantrum he did the other day at practice?
Yes, we didn't get to that, but he got all into everybody's face.
First, not everybody.
Woo. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that.
You can't handle it now. How can you handle it when 8 people are coming? Yeah.
I'm Tom Brady. No lollygagging during training camp. Come on. Yeah. Whatever works, man.
Happy birthday, Tom.
Happy birthday, Tom Brady. You are the GOAT, sir. And I love your TikToks. I don't care what Shannon says. I think they're fun. I think they're highly entertaining. Speaking of Shannon, let's see how salty she is on a Taco Tuesday. Here it is. You've waited long enough. You will now get your just reward. It is time for the Salty Shakedown.
Chris, my nightly routine is to sit on my couch and consume as much TV as I can.
Woo!
But I multitask because, like the millennial I am, I have my phone in my hand. I might be playing Candy Crush. I might be perusing TikTok. I may be looking at Instagram. Or if it's last night, I'm scrolling through Twitter. And I start seeing updates from a Texas Senate committee hearing involving Texas and the Big 12 and other Big 12 heads discussing the move to the SEC. So I want to go through some bullet points with you that came out of this yesterday. I don't really understand if they were trying to resolve anything or if they were just trying to put everything out on the table. But we have to keep in mind that these Texas senators have once been students, and some of them went to schools that are in the Big 12, and so they are taking this personally. One being Senator Charles Perry, a Texas Tech alum. He claimed, if you guys think you're so big as you are, why couldn't you make the Big 12 bigger than the SEC? You didn't.
Oh, my God.
Shots fired.
God.
Senator Colcourse.
Pathetic.
Who was a graduate from TCU and used to work for TCU's athletic administration, talked about the Texas TCU current football record of the last 10 years, which isn't great for Texas, and said, would you rather have that losing record to Alabama? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we would, actually.
That says a little bit more about our program. Thank you very much. That's what it says about TCU. So that was interesting that we got those takes from senators kind of defending their alumni and school. And then, of course, the big question about LHN. What's going to happen? Are we going to keep it? Is it going to go away? Well, Jay Hartzell, president of Texas, said we expect it to kind of diminish over time. And he wanted to make sure, because he was asked if money from LHN would then be used to buy out Texas and OU from their Big 12 contracts. And he said, I may have been born and raised and grew up in Oklahoma, but we will not be paying for their exit fee. So yes, they are going into the SEC together and they're leaving the Big 12 together, but they are not. They don't have each other's hands in their pockets financially. Okay, that's their bill to pay. Chris, for as quickly as all of this went down, I mean, it's and it's already decided, right? We already know they're going.
Yes.
They've been accepted. Why is this still so messy?
And it's so pathetic. In the two quotes you mentioned, one guy who went to Texas Tech,
Charles Perry,
one guy who went to TCU. I mean,
she Senator Colcourse.
Yeah, I mean, you're making your universities look bad. Come on, Texas Tech's a fine school, TCU's a fine school, but the Texas Longhorns are just in a whole other stratosphere. As is Oklahoma. They've earned the right to determine their own destiny, just as Texas A&M did this in 2012. If you want to move on, move on. It's like again, it's like a breakup. A woman is leaving you, and you're calling her names as she packs her bags and gets in the car and leaves your home.
Yeah.
It's like you know, it didn't work. She's moving on to greener pastures. Be an adult and wish her well.
As someone who worked with both of these senators in my own committees that I was in charge of while at the Senate, these comments by them do not surprise me. All right, into the NBA world, because Chris, for whatever, we were talking about NBA free agency, right? And that Kawhi and DeMar were kind of the big names, and there probably wouldn't be a lot of fuss, especially after the last couple of years, right? Where we've had some gigantic superstars and multiple of them on the move or potentially on the move looking for new deals. But yesterday was quite busy, and one of those names that was caught up in it was one Mr. Lonzo Ball, who is now a Chicago Bull, signing a 4-year, $85 million contract with the Bulls. Sir, all of the Ball brothers are currently balling. And I don't mean just hoops. I mean money, okay? I don't know where LiAngelo got all this money, because he was part of the G League. He's now committed to play with North Carolina, Charlottesville in the summer league, which is great. Good for him. Get his face out there, play some ball. But he recently purchased a house worth $2.8 million.
Wow.
He's not playing in the NBA like his brother. He's not playing in the NBA like his youngest brother, LaMelo, who, of course, was 2021 Rookie of the Year and has a $10.1 million house in North Carolina. Does it now you and I weren't together before these guys made it to the next level. They were still in college. LeVar Ball was all over the place, touting his sons, saying how great they're going to be. A lot of people were making fun yesterday that he's now going to walk into Chicago and say, my son's better than Michael Jordan. He's going to be better than Michael Jordan. He's already better than Michael Jordan. I don't know how you feel about him or felt about him, but given where his sons currently are, and the status they currently have, or at least seem to have, you got to think LeVar's feeling pretty good about himself.
Now he is. And it's so interesting how he kind of went silent. He used to be such an annoying, obnoxious, incessant. So it seemed like every time you turned on the television, you would see LeVar Ball. And I must admit, I never, because he was kind of a showman and, proud of himself and beating his chest, I did not believe his sons were going to be as great as he said they were. Mm-hmm. But my goodness, they have found a way to upgrade their skills and upgrade their bank accounts and upgrade their real estate holdings. And good for them. I'm happy for them, and I hope Dad is not being overbearing in their lives.
Yeah. They may continue to be the butt of many jokes, but they are laughing all of the way to the bank at this point. So good for them. And you're right, LeVar's been quiet, and that's been fine. I do miss the SNL sketches on Weekend Update when Kenan Thompson would roll out and do his best LeVar Ball impressions. Those were fantastic. All right, finally moving on to some Olympic stuff. It was announced NBC paid $7.75 billion, Chris, for the rights to the Olympics from 2014 to 2032. So by my math, that's 10 Olympics that they have the rights to cover. And you, amongst many others, have been complaining about the current Olympic coverage. It is difficult, right, with the, 14-hour time difference. What do you show live? What do you replay later? How much of the event do you replay? Do you replay the whole thing? Well, people are very, very upset. And I want to go through this list with you. NBC, NBCSN, USA Channel, Olympic Channel, Golf Channel, and of course, Peacock Plus all have the Olympics. If you're on Peacock Plus, I think you can watch anything you want. Of course, it's also flooded with ads, and you have to pay for it. But people are very upset because, and I've had this experience too, I'm watching an event. I'm like, oh, this is good. It's a commercial. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. I come back. They don't go back to that event. They're on something else. And then we have the issues of wanting to watch what we feel is a major event, a major sport, going to be a major headline. It's nowhere to be found. We're watching something that's a qualifying round for whatever. And we love that these other sports are getting their moment, right? That's part of why we love the Olympics. But they aren't even showing the good stuff of those sports, right? The tie for gold medal at the high jump. And the Jamaican runner who the other day thought she had it to go to the final, slowed up. I guess she was trying to do like a Usain Bolt where he smiled at the camera, right?
Yeah.
But she didn't have that kind of lead, and it didn't qualify. The jumping around, I mean, you and I do a sports show every day. We have it mostly together, right? We're pretty good at staying on task and telling a story, beginning, middle, and end. That seems to be lacking at NBC. If you were the head of NBC, what are going? They've still got a couple more years to go with this, 11 to be exact. So I guess they're halfway-ish through with the number of Olympics they'll cover after these next Winter Olympics. What are you telling them, especially knowing that 2022, the Winter Olympics are coming and they're in Beijing? So we're once again going to have this time difference.
First of all, listen to your customers, and everything you just said indicates the problems they are having. Secondly, create a guide.
Yep.
There should be you should constantly be saying, go to nbc.com/Olympics or whatever it is to see our Olympic guide, where you can find what you want to see, whether it's on Peacock or a gazillion other outlets. There needs to be an easy way for us to find what we want to find. And if there's something you want to stick with, you should. I mean, we got a million channels. We've got streaming. Tell us where we can find it and where we can stick with it. To me, that's the biggest thing. Tell me where and when I can get what I'm looking for.
In the digital age of social media, you have to realize people already know the outcome, especially if it's a delayed broadcast. Even some of these channels are running on a 15-minute delay. So even then, they're still behind the curve. I think they need to show everything they can and show it live and show it all the way through. Let it be up to the individual to wake up at 3 a.m. or stay up at 11 a.m. to watch
or
whatever.
Set your DVR. Yeah,
exactly. And then when you have that prime time slot, take us through the big moments. Let Mike Tirico be Mike Tirico. He's not getting to be Mike. I mean, he's like a robot out there. He's trying. He's doing his best, but he can only do with what he's working with. Let him be Mike Tirico. Let him do his thing. And give us those stories that we love so much about the Olympics. And then show us, play the highlights. But don't be switching around. I don't want to go somewhere to get a drink out of the fridge and come back and all of a sudden I'm watching a sport I've never heard of. That doesn't do anything for me. Be better, NBC. Be better. You've still got time to make it up. 2032. That's when this deal ends. $7.75 billion. Get your money's worth here, folks. There it is, today's Salty Shakedown.
A gold medal winning Salty Shakedown, as always, outstanding. Totally agree. NBC, get your act together. Watching Bob Costas the other night reminded me how good the Olympics could be. 8 o'clock hour, sports update at the top of the hour, and another pair of Clapton tickets that you can win. Don't go anywhere. Chris Duel Show. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. All right, where was I? Did I edit that? I think I did.
Chris here for the wonderful people at R&R Auto Glass. Nobody does it better. It's where I take my vehicle. They can replace every piece of glass on your vehicle. Chip filling and repair, camera calibration, window regulators, all with a lifetime warranty. Mobile service available. They can even come to you. Senior, UTSA, and military discounts. Ask them about the Duel deal. Save even more money off the already low and reasonable pricing. Website, rnrautoglass.com. They are the best. R&R Auto Glass.
All right, there's that.
Chris here for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. So many great events that we can participate in this month, August, in the Austin area. Of course, Round Rock Express at Dell Diamond. Lots of Austin FC action at G2 Stadium. And Bat Fest is sponsored by Bud Light. Coming at you. Get on out there, have some fun. Whenever there's some fun, you're going to have a Bud Light nearby. Bud Light, please enjoy responsibly.
Here we go.
Chris Duel.
8 o'clock hour on a Taco Tuesday, August 3rd, on a morning that we know that Team USA in men's basketball is headed to the semifinals. In fact, taking a look at that score, Shannon, we've been keeping an eye on who will be the semifinal opponent for Team USA. By the way, Chris Duel show with Shannon Salty Sweeney. Before the bottom of the hour, we'll give you another shot at Eric Clapton tickets. Eric Clapton coming to the Frank Irwin Center in Austin on September 15th. So Team USA defeats Spain last night in the quarterfinals, 95-81. So they do advance to the semifinals, and they'll take on the winner of Argentina versus Australia, which is going on right now. And 3:40 to go in the third quarter in that game. Australia leading Argentina 51-45. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Will Patty Mills face Greg Popovich, his Spurs coach, and a lot of players that he knows on that Team USA squad, if indeed Australia advances to the quarterfinals to take on Team USA. Shannon, a story that you and I have been paying attention to, and a quarterback that we have been paying attention to is Carson Wenzt, who, my gosh, as we said yesterday, this guy so seems star-crossed ever since he came into the league and looked as if he was going to lead the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl. Of course, the year they go to the Super Bowl, he's injured, and Nick Foles winds up leading the Philadelphia Eagles to that improbable Super Bowl victory over the GOAT, Tom Brady, and the New England Patriots. But as of yesterday, it was unsure if Carson Wentz was going to have that foot surgery or try to rehab it and hope it got better. But we now know that Carson Wentz did have that surgery, and kind of seems to me a wide range on how long he's expected to be out.
Yeah, 5 to 12 weeks for an injury that they claimed happened in high school, that's just miraculously never been discovered. And he steps the wrong way, whatever, puts too much pressure on it, and then the bone breaks officially. For all the other injuries he's been through, I can't imagine he's been somehow that's gone missing, or he hasn't mentioned, like, sometimes when I walk this hurts, or I don't know. It's hard to. And the timing of the injury doesn't matter because the fact remains he's got to do this surgery. But 5 to 12 weeks is a huge range. I mean, that is the difference between, you would think back of when Tom Brady, what was it, 4 games Jimmy Garoppolo had to come in and play?
Yeah.
4 games was fine. But 12 weeks, potentially 12 games, I don't know when their bye is. And I guess you throw some preseason in there. I mean, that's the difference between fighting for, winning your division and not, right? Because I think anyone would argue it's probably going to be them and the Titans in the running for winning that division. Texans are out. Jaguars, you just don't know what you have at this point. New coach, new quarterback. They had everything pretty much riding on Carson. They've got the lines on either side of the ball. They've got their playmakers. They've truly been a quarterback away from making big time moves. And here we go with Carson once again. And we do get some audio from Nick Foles yesterday talking about how he's going to keep slinging it with third stringers, but people couldn't help but ask him about Frank Reich and is there a possibility that he could get traded? Nick has always been, he's well thought out. He never crosses the line, never even gets close to it. But yesterday it felt like it was as close as we've ever gotten with him because he kept it real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he said, look what Frank and I did at the Super Bowl. I am right now better than I was during that 2017-2018 season when we won the Super Bowl. So he's confident that should he go there, should he be asked to come, he could do things for that team. Now, again, with Carson potentially coming back at 5 to 12 weeks. You don't know when that is yet. If you bring Nick Foles there, I don't see Carson Wentz being anywhere near. He was never going to be near that MVP level year he was having. I mean, his numbers just show that he's just really not that guy through and through. But mentally, the mind blank that this would do to him, I can't even imagine. Like, I just quit. You know what? I'm done. I'm gonna go. What sport can Nick Foles not play? I'm gonna play that one.
Well, the current and this is why a move to grab Nick Foles might be brilliant on the part of Frank Reich, who, oh, by the way, Nick Foles kind of knows the offense. I'm assuming Frank Reich, the head coach of the Colts, runs a very similar offense that he ran in Philadelphia that Nick Foles and Carson Wentz ran. And we talked about this yesterday, Shannon. You look at the depth chart of quarterbacks, at the moment, it looks like Jacob Eason will be the starting quarterback for the Colts. Who, as you mentioned, Brett Hundley, they brought him in, former UCLA quarterback. They brought him in because he's got a little bit of experience in the league. And Sam Ehlinger, our boy out of the University of Texas, who we want to see play well and have an NFL career. He may, in a weird way, become a beneficiary of more playing time, certainly in preseason, to demonstrate that he's got the goods. But if I'm Frank Reich, Shannon, and you got Nick Foles sitting out there, and he's the number 3 quarterback currently for the Chicago Bears, and he would seem very expendable for the Chicago Bears, I put together some kind of an offer to get Nick Foles. I know it could be damaging on the psyche of Mr. Carson Wentz, but your job, if you're Frank Reich, is to win football games, and it's a narrow window for everybody. We talked about Quinn Ewers earlier in the show, the guy who's given up his senior season at South Lake Carroll to go make some money on name, image, and likeness and go to Ohio State. I mean, you never know how long you have, and that goes for as accomplished as Frank Reich is, and as good as his resume is. You still you have a couple of bad seasons as a head coach in the NFL, and you're gone. As James Allen likes to quote, and we've heard it many, many times, NFL stands for not for long. Frank Reich has a very good team in Indianapolis right now. Do you want to go into the season for 5 to 12 weeks with your fortunes hanging on the arms of Jacob Eason? Can't even say his name. He's so unknown. Brett Hundley or Sam Ehlinger, or do you go get a dude who won a Super Bowl for you? He won that Super Bowl for Frank Reich. I think you go get Nick Foles.
Yeah, and Nick mentioned, that when he stepped up to take over that Eagles team when Carson Wentz went out, that Frank Reich they reworked the offense to fit Nick Foles, right? So that duo is, they've got a connection that, coaches and quarterbacks dream of. And I'm sure Carson Wentz fans are going to be like, oh my God, this Nick Foles guy. Nick Foles hasn't had anything handed to him ever in this league. He is a true journeyman. He's been at the top with that Super Bowl win, the Super Bowl MVP, and then he gets sent to the Jaguars. He makes that giant contract. It's great. It's fantastic. But that organization, as we know, is just trash. And they let him, just flounder. He gets hurt. It was awful. Now he's with the Bears. He's a third stringer. Like, he's gone up and down so many times in this league. So to hear him speak that confidently, is great. I mean, that's the kind of attitude you want in a third string guy, right? That's the kind of attitude you need to have if you're on the cut line, right? Like, that is the guy that you keep on the team. And again, that connection is huge. And we talk about Sam Ehlinger. I think that, even though Nick Foles coming in might limit Sam's time on the field, given their connection and their friendship that they have, and they both went to Westlake, and they're both men of faith, and they have all that going for them. I think that in turn helps a guy like Sam Ehlinger even more to bring in that guy and to have that guy in your locker room. I don't know. I don't percentage wise. I don't know that I feel super strongly that they're going to go for him and try and snag him, but I wouldn't mind it. I'd like to see it. It'd make me happy for Nick. A local guy, love his restaurants. But I do feel for Carson Wentz. Like, I used to kind of laugh and point and like, Nick Foles, take your. But now I'm like, oh, this guy, like, he's going through it, man.
It's like he's cursed. Yeah. Well, and again, I strongly believe that Frank Reich's job and the mission of the Indianapolis Colts, with all the talent they have on their roster, is to win. And as much as I love Sam Ehlinger and I want to see him get a lot of playing time, the 3 dudes, Jacob Eason, Brett Hundley, and Sam Ehlinger, are not what you want to go into this season. Any of those guys getting the Lions' share of your starts, of your snaps as a starting quarterback. So if you do believe that Frank Reich's job and the Colts' job is to be ready to win football games, then you got to do a quarterback search. You got to go find somebody out there as an insurance policy for the 5 to 12 weeks that Carson Wentz is out. And Shannon, when Carson Wentz comes back, how good is it? What are the guarantees? There are no guarantees. And with a foot that has just been operated on, he's not going to have nearly the mobility he used to have, not to mention the fact that he's going to be favoring that foot if he has to scramble, if he has to be mobile in the pocket. So if you truly believe that you got to go get a veteran quarterback that can really deliver the goods for you, not only while Carson Wentz is out, but if Carson Wentz comes back and he's not fully ready to go, of all the possible quarterbacks you could go out and get, is there a better candidate for Frank Reich than Nick Foles? And I would say no. And oh, by the way, as we said, Nick Foles is the number 3 quarterback in Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago would probably let him go for a bag of Doritos or a decent offer of some kind.
Yeah. And it's not like Nick is going to, be against that move. And for those wondering, we keep saying 5 to 12 weeks. From today, 5 weeks is September 7th. 12 weeks would be the end of October. That's a lot of weeks in between.
Yeah.
When you're talking football. I know we've got 17 games this year, but if those games go south for you because you don't have a guy at quarterback who can get it done, that season's over. It's over.
Now, one saving grace for the Colts is they're in a god-awful division that does include the Houston Texans. I as much as I love sunshine, the Jacksonville Jaguars are not probably going to be competing for that division, or will they, now that Tebow's on that team, and we know that automatically God's favorite team becomes the Jacksonville Jaguars. But so your main competition is the Tennessee Titans, who are quite good. So, but yeah, you can't start the season in September and move into October without winning a good number of football games to have yourself in that divisional race. And I looking at those 3 quarterbacks that are currently on your depth chart, I just don't have the confidence that any of those guys are going to do it.
I don't see it. And I think, again, when you're battling for first place in your division, the right to go to the playoffs, you've got to do everything you can to get there. Let's make a new. Is there a petition yet for Nick Foles to the Colts?
Oh man, there should be.
And can he get on one more roster during his NFL career? He's like the Ryan Fitzpatrick, except he gets stuff done.
Yeah,
and into the game, and he never starts.
Right.
Whereas Ryan Fitzpatrick starts and then doesn't finish. Nick Foles is the other way around.
And if Nick Foles gets on this Indianapolis Colts roster, he might lead them to a Super Bowl. I mean, he's. I mean, what a career it already is for Nick Foles, and what a career it might be. And you said something else that I didn't even think of, given their Austin Westlake connection, and given the friendship that it already exists. And you mentioned that Nick Foles and Sam Ehlinger are both guys of a similar faith that means a lot and really informs the way they lead their lives. You look at the career we're hoping Sam Ehlinger has in the NFL. I mean, he's starting right now. He's listed when Carson Wentz does play. Now that you've got Brett Hundley there, Sam Ehlinger is going to start as number 4 on the depth chart. Obviously, he moves up to number 3 now because Carson Wentz is going to be out. But, it's expected by most people that for Sam Ehlinger to make it in the NFL, he's going to have to do it with a lot of grit. He's going to have to demonstrate that, first of all, he can make an NFL roster, that he can contribute, and eventually work himself from being a number 3 quarterback to being a number 2 quarterback. And then hopefully, like Nick Foles did with the Eagles, when his number is called, deliver the goods, and maybe something magical happens. It certainly happened for Nick Foles when he delivered a Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. But for the development of Sam Ehlinger at Indianapolis, if Nick Foles were there to be his mentor, to show him how to be a quarterback in the NFL and how to survive as a quarterback in the NFL the hard way, that could be just what the doctor ordered for Sam Ehlinger. That could be a cool, helpful thing for his career at this very early stage.
I wonder if there's prop bets out there yet. What week will Sam Ehlinger get the nod to start the Indianapolis Colts?
Well, you look at what happened to the Cowboys last year when Dak went down, and they went through.
Mess.
Yeah, they went through all those quarterbacks, and one of them turned out to be the rookie, Ben DiNucci. So, yeah.
Well, at least we've heard of Sam Ehlinger before.
Exactly. Yes. And Sam Ehlinger's, what I've always felt about him, he's got a certain magic about him, a certain it factor about him. It's almost like, Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie coming out of Boston College where he did magic and he had to serve in the CFL for a while. But later, Doug Flutie was a Chicago Bear. He was a New England Patriot. And I know with the Bears, Doug Flutie, had some big ball games. He didn't have a career, a Hall of Fame career. He didn't have a career that you're never going to forget. But he had a pretty darn good NFL career as a backup quarterback and an occasional starter. And it would be nice to see Sam Ehlinger do something like that.
And you remember his name.
Yes.
You want to remember Sam Ehlinger's name. Ben DiNucci, in 10 years, you'll bring up that name, and I will have no idea who you're talking about.
That's a great point.
You'll have to convince me he actually played for the Cowboys at some point.
Yeah, you're right. And Sam Ehlinger is already, a guy whose name we know. So keep double checking now. Oh, my goodness. Australia really pulling away from Argentina. Looks like a pretty darn sure thing here, Shannon. 6:41 to go in the fourth quarter now in the quarterfinal game, men's Olympic basketball. Australia leading Argentina 73-48. So that is a 25-point lead, 6:32 to go, 25-point lead for Australia. So our little matchup of Patty Mills versus Greg Popovich looks like it's going to happen. And Mr. 41-year-old Luis Scola, only 5 points so far for Argentina in that matchup against Australia. Let me look at Patty Mills. Patty Mills, 16 points to lead Australia currently in that ball game. He's 6 of 13 from the field, 3 of 3 from three-point country, couple of rebounds, couple of assists. So Team USA, get ready for Patty Mills and Matthew Dellavedova, because it looks like the Aussies are going to advance to the semifinals in Olympic basketball.
All right.
And they were the one team I did not want to play. Now, and again, though, but I think, you mentioned this, they played in exhibition in Las Vegas. So I think I think two things are good for Team USA. A, Australia beat them in the exhibition match. So I think that adds to what Greg Popovich often preaches, which is appropriate fear of your opponent. Secondly, the fact that you are familiar with them, you played them, so you've got familiarity, and you lost to them. I think both of those factors are going to be good. So you've already scouted them. You know who they are. You know the matchups. You know how they like to play you. So that's, I think, going to benefit Team USA. Plus, an extra day of rest. I believe that's a Thursday game for Team USA, so I think it's going to actually be Wednesday night, late night our time, just like last night's game against Spain was late night. So Australia time, not a full day ahead of rest for Team USA, but they played their game earlier than Australia, so they get a little more rest than Australia does before that next matchup, which is just less than 48 hours away.
And I'm sure they're getting pretty good rest, because I heard they're not staying in the Olympic Village, which makes sense from a point of their high notoriety. Right. But also, I can't imagine Kevin Durant in one of those cardboard buds, even if they do have extenders.
They would have to.
They probably pay for their own hotel on their own dime, which that's fine. They have plenty of money. So I'm okay with it. But it is interesting that they're staying. They probably have a whole floor. I would imagine.
That would be interesting. And
rest up, boys. It
would be interesting to compare Team USA's accommodations in their hotel to whatever Australia is doing, Patty Mills and company. So, all right. Coming up, Well, we're going to do the Clapton tickets here in a moment. And after we do the Clapton tickets, still a lot more to get to, and we will. In fact, let's give away those Eric Clapton tickets now. By the way, if you don't get them now, going to give them away for the rest of the week. Eric Clapton coming to the Frank Irwin Center on September 15th, which is close. That's only a little more than a month away. September 15th, Frank Irwin Center. Shannon, what number at 800-707-9760? Which caller should we take?
I'm seeing Dave look over at the phone line. So to me, that means there's already people that have called in, which means I didn't really wait for the queue. So I'm going to say caller number 12.
Caller number 12. So now listen, if you are an early caller, like caller 2 or caller 5, hang up and call right back because, calls are coming in.
Wait for the queue, you guys.
Exactly. Come on, people. Wait for the queue. 800-707-9760. Caller number 12 gets the Eric Clapton tickets. Coming up, we'll take a look at NFL action. We are a little over 48 hours away from the Dallas Cowboys playing football. Hall of Fame game, Cowboys-Steelers. We'll talk NFL, Major League Baseball. We'll take a look at the Olympics, see what's breaking there. And we'll recap, if you missed it as well, Simone Biles competed and medaled earlier this morning in the Tokyo Olympics. We are with you till 9 o'clock. She's Shannon Salty Sweeney. Dave Ayler taking your phone calls now for the Clapton tickets. It's the Chris Duel Show. All right, let's see here. Got one more, I do believe. Whoa, that's loud.
Man, there are so many cool events going on and coming up, especially Round Rock Express at Dell Diamond. Lots of Austin FC action at Q2 Stadium and Bat Fest, sponsored by Bud Light. Great bands coming to Bat Fest. Where there's fun, you're going to find a Bud Light with its clean, crisp taste. America's favorite lager, my favorite beer, is Bud Light. Bud Light, please enjoy responsibly.
Ah. Fred, I said 800-707-9760. Yep. 800-707-9760. We will find out from Mr. Dave Ayler who won the tickets. Here we go. Some Eric Clapton for you. And some Eric Clapton tickets for you. It is the Chris Duel Show with Shannon Salty Sweeney, Dave Ayler, your soundscape stylist. Dave's the guy who picks up the phone and most recently determined who the 12th caller was. It's pretty easy. You count from 1 to 12, and you pick caller number 12. If you did not win the tickets this time around, you will have opportunities tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. We're giving away these tickets all week. Eric Clapton coming to the Frank Irwin Center September 15th. Mr. Dave Ayler, who was our big winner of the Clapton tickets.
Lee Akers.
Lee Akers.
And Chris, both winners today, both have birthdays coming up later this month.
That's cool.
So they got a good birthday present.
Happy birthday, Lee Akers. Enjoy yourself some Eric Clapton.
And I got a birthday coming up this month, too. So do I get Eric Clapton tickets?
Well, see, I've got a birthday coming up this month, too. So we should both go to Eric Clapton.
Let's go.
You and I. When is your birthday?
The Friday, the 6th.
August 6th.
Yeah.
I think that's David Robinson's birthday. I used to,
Yeah, you're right.
Is that right? You
Yeah.
share your birthday with David Robinson? Very cool. I'm August 17th.
Okay.
So we could have a we should have an 11-day party.
Let's do it.
Just nonstop.
Just big bash.
Just drink heavily. Now, you did give me, Shannon, I do have it in my hand, and I'll show the people on the live video feed. Dave Ayler did give me the list of the drunkest cities in America. And
Really?
none of them are in Texas. And most of them, it looks like, most of them are in Wisconsin.
What?
Seven of the, I believe 7 of the top 10 drunkest cities in the U.S. are in Wisconsin. It's a list of
'Cause there's
20.
nothing else to do there but drink
I guess so.
and watch the Packers.
So the
Brewers?
in the top 10, let's see, Green Bay comes in at number 3. I'm looking for cities we may recognize. Madison, Wisconsin, number 4. Ames, Iowa, number 8. Milwaukee, the home of beer. Milwaukee is number 17. Lincoln, Nebraska, number 18, because, you know, the Cornhuskers make you drink heavily. Your number 1 drunkest city in America is Appleton, Wisconsin. See, I'm a little...
Does it say what they drink specifically?
I don't see this.
Drink.
No. They by the percentage of the population that drinks heavily or goes on binge drinking, which translates to 4 to 5 drinks in one sitting, or 15 drinks or more per week. So I guess they just surveyed people on how much they drank, and they came up with that. So I'm first of all, no Texas cities are on that list, so it can't be right. Secondly, I'm a little bit. You would think Austin, Texas, with 6th Street. I mean, if they just polled the people on 6th Street, they'd come up with a lot of drunks. I would think.
I mean, people have to be conscious enough to answer whatever questions do.
That's true. Somebody passed out in a gutter is probably not going to be able to answer that question.
Those cheeseheads know how to drink.
They do. And what was the deal with Aaron Rodgers? Didn't he a couple of times, like on a big jumbotron, chug a beer or try to chug a beer?
Yeah. He was pretty good at it.
Okay.
Not as good as Baker Mayfield knows how to chug a beer, but he's a Texas boy, so you know, this is a rite of passage.
I saw Mahomes chug a beer at, and he could put it away.
Everything Patrick Mahomes does, he does very well. That doesn't surprise me. He's got a very charmed existence. Today is National Night Out. Shannon, are you gonna get together with neighbors for National Night Out?
Growing up, I grew up on a street with a lot of kids. We were all the same age. Mitch Morris being one of them, and we loved to play National Night Out. That was when we would often play Mitch Ball. The fire department would always come over to our street, and we'd get to go inside the fire truck. So growing up, it was huge. But now, no thanks.
Yeah, Mitch
and
Morse.
I don't think my neighborhood is doing anything either. So.
Yeah, Mitch Morse, of course, the center for the Austin Bills. Okay, we've had him on the show. Great guy. Mitch Morse.
Awesome.
It is also National Watermelon Day. Kind of makes sense that Watermelon Day would be during the summer. People love their watermelon in the summer. Are you a watermelon person, Shannon?
It's seedless. I'm too lazy to eat.
Yes,
seeded watermelon.
I'm kind of seeds are a hassle.
Yeah,
and you're enjoying your watermelon, but you got to be careful for the seeds.
I like the Harry Styles song. I'm gonna listen to that. Watermelon sugar high.
Very nice.
Watermelon sugar high.
Woo!
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. But you sing it well, so I'm.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm on radio, because I'm just waiting to be discovered.
It could happen. Hey, man, Cole Beasley.
I don't even like sports.
Cole Beasley has a musical career, so you could too. Maybe you could maybe open for Cole Beasley, or not. It's a thought. Finally, and I didn't name this day, but it's today is, and I'm going to show people on the live video feed, so I'm not making this up. It is National Grab Some Nuts Day. National Grab Some Nuts Day.
There's a whole lot of ways you can take that.
Yeah. So
that's dangerous.
Here it is suggesting pecans, pistachios, peanuts, or cashews. However you enjoy. Do you have a go-to? I'm a pistachio freak. Is there a certain variety of nut that you like, Shannon?
That's really the only one I do eat.
Not sunflower seeds.
Like I can do peanut butter, but I don't just like pecans and walnuts and all. Like when people start putting that on my dessert, pass.
Mm-hmm.
Pass.
There's
not a fan.
All right. Just if you're a fan of the nut, go out and get you some today.
Okay.
Australia in the final minute now, putting the beat down on Argentina. 47 seconds to go. Australia 94, Argentina 56. So an emphatic win for Australia, led in scoring by Patty Mills, 7 of 15 from the field, 3 of 4 from three-point country. Patty Mills, 4 assists, distributing the ball a little bit. So it will be Thursday night. It will be Australia versus Team USA in the semifinals. And the winner of that one takes on the winner of Slovenia, led by Luka Doncic. Slovenia versus France. And as you mentioned, Shannon, and I like the idea, I would like to see a rematch, chance to atone for that opening game loss by Team USA in the Olympics to France. A gold medal game between France and Team USA would be nice, but let's don't get ahead of ourselves. You got to beat Australia first.
Right. But it would be nice to, again, right the wrong and win the game that truly matters. Right?
Yes.
I don't know that we'd forgive them for losing that first one. We for sure won't forget. But that would be nice.
Now, meanwhile, as we mentioned Slovenia, and we brought this up earlier in the show, I mean, Luka Doncic and Slovenia, they have been a juggernaut. And in fact, let me pull up, their game. They blew out Germany 94-70 in the quarterfinals. So Luka Doncic, your boy from the Dallas Mavericks, has been on fire for Slovenia. So if it's Slovenia, either team waiting for you in the finals, if Team USA can beat Australia and get there, France, you got to worry about them because they beat you. They may have your number, but Slovenia may be the hottest team right now and maybe the most dangerous team in this pool of Olympic nations going for the men's basketball gold.
You should always fear Luka.
Yeah, I do.
You should always fear Luka.
I do at this
So
point.
words to live by.
And I'm trying to find if I've got that semifinal game. Yes, 12:15 Eastern on Thursday night or on Thursday. So that's going to be Wednesday night, which will be tomorrow night at 12:15 a.m. Or no, 11:15 our time. 11:15 our time. It's listed at 12:15 a.m. on Thursday Eastern time, USA. So it'll be at 11:15 tomorrow night. So another late one.
It's rough, man. These Olympics.
I know. And you got to ask yourself, and I'm looking ahead, the gold medal game. Well, that's a Friday night. So, and it's going to be on Dave Ayler's birthday. Yeah. The gold medal game is at 10:30 p.m.
Do it for Dave.
On Friday night on Dave Ayler and David Robinson's birthday. So that'll be cool.
That's a guaranteed win now.
Well, and the good news for all of us is it's not a weeknight, so we don't have early morning radio the next day.
Still that's late.
Yeah, it is late. So Shannon, I mean, I know you have gone to bed early on some of these Team USA basketball games. You've if they're in the gold medal game, are you staying up for that one? You staying up? You watching the whole thing at 10:30 on Friday night if they're in that gold medal game?
I may have it on. Whether or not my eyes are open, I cannot say. Yeah. I'd have to take like an 8 p.m. nap and then wake back up in order to do that. My weekend plans aren't set in stone, so who knows?
There you go. Hopefully they win it. I want to see Coach Greg Popovich win the darn thing. We mentioned earlier, Shannon, in fact, we gave her a high five. And for people just tuning in, Simone Biles in her swan song did compete in a final Olympic event. It was the balance beam. She takes the bronze medal. She was said in an interview afterwards that she did this for me, which is cool. You know, we talked a lot about it, Shannon, and I mean, she's gotten so much heat. It is kind of nice. Obviously, I would wish she would have taken the gold, but to medal is a big deal. And for her to take that bronze medal, going through the issues that she was going through, and as you mentioned earlier, Shannon, revamping her entire routine to be able to do it on the balance beam. Good for her. She walks out of there with a bronze medal.
Yeah, huge, and what a way to end her Olympic career. Head held high, holding yet another medal. Again, her 7th medal, tying her for the most gymnastics medals in Olympic history.
Meanwhile, NFL football, I notice Mike Zimmer, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, continuing to be outspoken about he is not happy that there are a number of Minnesota Vikings players who are not vaccinated. He says he feels like players are going to miss games during the season because of this, because they're not vaccinated. He thinks, just given this Delta variant and it is more contagious than the original strain of COVID-19 that the NFL and the rest of us were dealing with a season ago. He says he expects players to be out next season. So, or this coming season for the Minnesota Vikings. So going to be interesting, as you've got on one level, you've got coaches like Mike Zimmer being very, very vocal that you should be vaccinated. Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys is very, very vocal. And you've got the other side, guys like Cole Beasley. It's going to be interesting to see how this continues to play out in the NFL.
And I want to let you know, Chris, he has so far stuck to his word. He has yet to tweet again.
Is that right?
The release of that. I mean, he tweeted the note of saying this is my last tweet, and then right after that, he tweeted the link to the single. But he has yet to tweet since.
Man,
he's yet to tweet since.
I miss my Cole Beasley tweets.
I think we'll be all right without him.
All right.
Now that Chris, you're leaving us.
Yes.
After the show today, you're heading to Canton, Ohio. You're going to take in the Hall of Fame game. Football is here. We don't have to go another weekend without football.
True. Thank
February. There'll be plenty of us to talk about other than Cole Beasley.
You are correct. And as and
you will be joining us for some updates.
Yeah, I will give you guys I will paint the scene for you guys, tell you what I see in Canton, Ohio and at the Cowboys Steelers football game.
Take pictures. Let me know when you land. Get there safely. Checked in.
Yes.
All of that.
I will do all of that. I will be in touch. And thank you, Shannon, for holding down the fort along with Mr. Andy Everett while I'm gone. I will tune in when I can on the iHeartRadio app.
There you go.
Yeah,
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 tell all the people there to tune in.
Absolutely.
Let's have a spike this weekend.
I'll work on that. Plus, it's an hour later, so I can sleep in an hour late. So the show is on from, I guess, what, 7 to 10.
There you go.
Canton, Ohio time. Very cool. Shannon, spectacular show. Have a great time the rest of the week.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your trip.
Thank you so much. Dave Ayler, you rock, sir.
Thank you. Have fun.
Enjoy the rest of the week and an early happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
August 6th. Hopefully you'll get some cool loot. All right, everybody. Enjoy your Taco Tuesday. I will see you next week. Go Cowboys. Adios, amigos.